qualities of God is in you. Every one of you, black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter, Puerto Rican, you have God's image.
What's going on, fam? Dave Jones here, and today we're going to figure out how do I believe in myself. Now, this is a very sensitive issue. If you click this link because you're having trouble believing in yourself, then we have to catch you. You can fix this because you have the ability, literally, of God in you to produce whatever you see anybody else do. And the reason that we have this attitude of doubt is because our belief system, either we're unaware of it or it's broken. And this was an issue that I too struggle with. Things that I've accomplished, literally accomplished 100-fold in the past, I went through a season where my belief system got corrupted, right? And so we're about to figure it out right now to get you to be able to do anything that you set your mind to do by believing. So in order for us to figure out the proper belief system or to see the process of how we think, then we have to walk through these 6 steps that we've put together. Now I'm going to give you 6 words that you probably heard before, but I'm going to try to put some definitions behind them and put them in an order that shows you a process so that we can convert our mindset so that you can believe in yourself and do what it is that you need to do. The first word that we're going to look at is precept. Precept means original idea. So let's break it down. Precept is 2 words put together. It's pre, which means original, and then there's cept, which means thought or idea. So you put them together, that's precept. And so it means literally original idea. So what's important to note is that this original idea is outside of you. So it's independent of you. Precepts are things that we come into contact with, but are thoughts that are not our own. So if you are in the kingdom of God, you understand that a precept is the universal and spiritual laws that are true, independent of you. So the law of lift, the law of gravity, the law of giving, the law of love, all of these bring a certain return in the user's life if they apply those thoughts and take them as their own. So precept, remember that as an original idea. Now before I move forward, you also got to know that there's the inverse of precepts that are true. Precepts are still precepts. However, there are ideas that actually exist outside of you that we should not come in contact with, and we'll learn that in a second. So now, the next word is concept. Concept is another 2 words connected. It's con, which means one or with, and then cept, which is thought. So concept is to be one with a certain thought. So it's to be made aware of an idea. It's to become in contact. So you ever heard when somebody try to explain something to you and they're like, you get the concept? Yeah, I get the concept. Well, essentially what you're saying is you got the general notion. You're now made aware of what it is, the thought that was outside of you, you and that thought have now met. So there's a concept that you come into alignment with because you're made aware of it. Now, the very next one, we graduate from a concept to an idea. An idea is literally a mental picture that you have. Now you come to embrace this as something that's formulated in your own mind. It's the own working of the mental picture that you get. So it's the way you embrace that thought and what is imagined from what has been spoken to you about this concept. And so let me give you a quick example. My wife, she took my son for a walk. And I was on the phone with her, and she's talking to me, and then I hear her yelling at him, like, no, son, get away from that cat. That cat is dirty. We don't like cats. And so he now was made aware of a precept or a thought that was originally outside of him, and then he became aware of it, and it became a concept or a general notion. Then it's going to slide into an idea or his own thought, because he's going to eventually have a mental picture of cats. And so as if he's trained by that, the more he sees cats, he's going to remember the authority that gave him that instruction or that thought process and say, yeah, cats are nasty or are dirty. Now, whether the cats are dirty or not, because I don't necessarily believe they are, that is the thought that he could carry based upon how he formulated that picture. And when he sees cats, that's the picture that he'll have. So you can see, just because you have a thought doesn't mean that it's necessarily true, but it's a thought that you have and it's true to you. All right? So now let's slide into the next one in this process. From your ideas or the mental pictures you have, you get what we have, ideology. Now your ideology are ideas that you believe, thoughts that you believe. So we collect, whether it's on race, whether it's on government, whether it's on relationships, whatever it is, your ability to do what you need to do, you've developed an ideology about a belief. You come into agreement with an idea that you receive. So now you have an outlook on life or a set of thoughts that you have in your mind that starts to make up who you are. It starts to be the window or the lens on how you see everything. So you got to ask yourself, how am I looking out these windows? What thoughts that I agree with, that I came into as to believing as true for me? If I see these as my truth, then it becomes the thing that's potentially hindering me from getting to the next level. Right? Not that I can't do them, but what I believe about what I think about the thing is stopping me from moving. So we have to audit the precept or the thoughts that we've come to agreement with. Now, here's the fifth part where God is supposed to jump in here and to save us when we come into contact with it. And that is theology. Theology, again, is two words. Theo is God, and then ology is knowledge, or so basically it's the study of God. So our theology, or your theology, is what you know about God, your research, your digging. What is it that he said? And then the relationship you can build upon that. Now here's the problem. When we meet God, we come with our own set of concepts. We come with our own ideas and our own ideologies because we've gotten them built off precepts that may not have been from him. And so when we go to God and we try to fit him in our ideology, then he can't save us or fix us. Case in point, we talk about the kingdom of God. This was a very abstract term to me that I couldn't comprehend because it sounds really weird. Why? Because from the Western, I live in the United States, here we live in a democracy or republic. And so the concept of a kingdom is really weird. And so when I bring my concepts or misconceptions to the table, then it's hard for me to operate with the right theology. Therefore, God cannot benefit me. He literally says, my thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. So we have ideology that stops us to help us to believe and to take courage to go ahead and move forward in that relationship, in that business. And it's starting to block our belief in ourselves. Right? So the last one that I want to hit is the most important out of all of these, which is philosophy. Philosophy is at the end of this system of thinking where it says, it's two words again. It's philo, which is love, and then Sophie, which is wisdom. So it is the way you think. It is your mentality. Not only the thoughts that you believe, but it's the thoughts that you love. So you rehearse these thoughts, you meditate on these thoughts, and you think about them all the time, and you become the master of your own mind. Whether that mastery of that wrong thinking has caused you to be homeless on the street, or that mastery of that thinking has caused you to be at the top of your business or your relationship. It is the thoughts that you have in love with. So your philosophy on life is thoughts that you are living out. Now, the interesting thing about philosophy is it turns from psychological and it bursts itself in the physical, because now it's not only what you believe, it's what you carry out, how you conduct yourself. And it's usually expressed in our attitude. So if you say, oh man, I don't believe in myself, and you're trying to figure out how do you believe in yourself, it's expressed in your attitude. I can't do it. Because you rehearse these thoughts in your head about what you can't. And you think about the things that you do wrong. And so therefore you have this mental picture of yourself that you love and you protect and it's fortified. And can't nobody just come and give you a pep talk to fix it. Why? Because it's the thoughts that you have mastered and you are in love with. Right? And so the only way to believe in yourself is to change the result of bad thinking. Right? You have to change your philosophy. This is what God means when he says to renew your mind, renew the process of how you think. Pull every wrong precept or every thought that started outside of you that's causing you to have doubts or fears or pain, and pull them out of you, and let's replace them with new keys, new secrets, the original thoughts. So what I'm trying to do is get you to understand this concept, because you have to work this out in your own mind. You can believe in yourself. You have the abilities to do what it is that you desire to do. We just have to reprogram how we think, and that starts by getting the right thoughts. Right? Let's get some truth in there and get some keys or some secrets that cause you to be an expression of God, which can do anything. Right? And so I believe in you because I know that you're built by God. And if you're studying him, if you're trying to figure him out, that's why you're here. And this is what he is saying to you. Now, you have to rewatch this several times to make this make sense in your own mind, so you have your own mental pictures, and which will cause you now to protect what you listen to and what you seek after. I'm going to come back with another video to tell you the process of how to work this out, because it's not easy. Because a philosophy is like fortified, and we have to get that thing taken care of. All right, fam, so if you made it to this point, that hopefully you get something out of this. So I need your help now. I need you to obviously like it, to share it, turn on the notifications, subscribe, whatever it is that causes you to get this information, but also helps us to get the word out in front of more people. We have to help more people because too many of us are depressed in our thinking. And so we are the citizens of the kingdom of God. That means we have power and authority to dominate everything in our life. So I love you guys. I know this bless you. Let's go. See you on the next one.